Let's talk Tanya for the 10th of Kislev. In the last few days of Tanya, we've been talking about the value of doing mitzvahs, and also we've spoken about the importance of studying Torah. But why? Because when we're studying Torah about doing a mitzvah, when we study about doing a mitzvah, then it is considered as if we did the mitzvah. In today's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe is going to shift a little, and we're going to talk about what is the value of studying Torah simply for the sake of studying Torah, not because when you're learning about doing a mitzvah, it's as if you've done the mitzvah. What is the value of Torah itself? So we know that Torah is the wisdom of God. It is the chachma of God. Now, that sounds pretty amazing. And when we're learning Torah, we're interacting with God's wisdom. But the problem is that we also know that kulam bechachma asisa, everything was created by God's wisdom. That means God's wisdom is within everything. Within the table, within the chair, within the hairbrush, within the bookcase. Wherever you're looking, you're seeing God's wisdom. So what is the advantage of Torah over everything else? And the answer is yes, God's wisdom is within everything, but God's wisdom is hidden within everything. When you look at everything, what do you see? You don't see the wisdom. You see instead the result of the wisdom, which is the created being. Within Torah, God's wisdom is actually revealed. So within yourself, you, your soul, your body, your soul, even the greatest angels, we are created beings. The godliness is not revealed within us, and therefore we want to study Torah and connect to Hashem in a place where the wisdom is revealed. And the Alter Rebbe gives an interesting terminology to explain this. He says that yes, when we're learning Torah, God's wisdom also, it seems to be concealed. It's concealed in physical halachas. I'm learning the laws of a mitzvah which has to be done with physical things. I'm learning about physical parameters. But there the Alter Rebbe says, God's wisdom goes through it in a way of maiver. It passes through it. What does that mean? So in Chassidus, the example is given for this, that when you have an idea, so the idea is in your mind, you think about it, you process that, you get it, and then what happens? The feeling, that idea goes into your heart, and that creates a feeling. Based on whatever your understanding or your perspective is, you have a feeling now. So the idea entered the heart, and now what comes out of the heart? Not the idea, but a feeling. Now this feeling is based on the idea, but the idea is hidden right now, and now what you have is the feeling. Now contrast that with when you sit down with a pen and paper and you write down an idea. So here, the idea of your head is not going to your heart, the idea of your head is going into your hands, and you're writing the idea, but what comes out is actually the idea. You're writing down the idea right now exists on the piece of paper. The idea went through your hand, but the key words over here is it went through your hand. It didn't now enter the level of your hand as it did when it entered your heart. It went through your hand. The same thing is also when it comes to God's wisdom. There's God's wisdom as it comes down into different creations, but it enters it and it doesn't pass through it. It enters that level. So when God's chachma, God's wisdom enters the physical world to create the physical world, now what we have is physical objects. And the godliness which is within it is hidden. Within Torah, there we have God's wisdom, but God's wisdom passes through the physical. And even when we're studying about something physical in the Torah, ultimately, what we have over here is God's wisdom. And therefore, when we're studying Torah, we have this incredible connection with God's wisdom. And tomorrow we are going to continue this conversation, and we're going to try to find out why is it that the wisdom in the Torah passes through, whereas the wisdom that's involved in creation doesn't pass through, it actually enters, and what's called hislapshus, it encloses itself within the physical objects. What is the reason for the difference? We'll find out, God willing, in tomorrow's Tanya.